Hello and welcome to the Kernow cast, where I, Lewis Pauling, talks to people from all walks of life from across the Duchy. We are particularly focusing on Cornwall's entrepreneurs, their businesses, and how they contribute to the county. But we're not going to forget about those unsung heroes that power our community. We are here to spread the word of all these organisations so that you can get involved within your community or support that local business that you didn't know was just around the corner. So join me on a journey around the county from the comfort of your car, armchair, or wherever else you might listen. Cheers, my dears. Welcome everybody to the Kernow cast. This is episode number 4 and I'm your host, Lewis Pauling, and my guest today is Leigh Frost, who resides in Bodmin, and he's recently became a Bodmin town councilor. He also helps run a family business in Bodmin, selling fruit and vegetables. So we talk about both of those topics, starting with the town council side of things. We delve right into that. Also, at the end, we briefly talk about podcasting, because Leigh has run a podcast before, and all this equipment I'm using has come from him. I've borrowed from him. So thank you for that. First of all, Leigh, if you're listening. Talking about the equipment, I do apologise a little bit if you find that maybe the volumes between each little segment that I'm doing across all the shows so far have been a bit up and down. I'm still getting the hang of how to use it all. There's a big mixing desk here that I have no experience of using till now. So I'm slowly figuring it out. I mean, if you recall the first episode, I actually plugged it all in and didn't end up using it. So I think I've come quite far in my short time of podcasting and audio recording. Speaking of which, hopefully one day we will be videoing as well and sticking this all up on YouTube. So anyway, without any further ado, please welcome Leigh Frost. That's the art bit. Anyway. Hello and welcome everybody to the Kernow cast. Today with me I have a chap named Leigh Frost. Hello, mate.
Hello, all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Good. We've there's loads to talk about, actually. I'm hoping we can touch on some podcasting and your little family business.
In my previous life, yeah.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And obviously your new... what can I call it? Venture? It's not a venture, is it? Well, venture into the wilderness of the town councillor.
Yeah.
That's going to be our main thing. But first of all, actually, I'd like to thank you for letting me use all your equipment.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Else I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So thank you very, very much for that.
No, I'm always keen to help someone get started.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. So if we can start.
Yeah.
You've obviously recently become a town councillor for Bodmin.
That is correct, yeah. I was elected on the 20th of October with 70% of the vote. So
Brilliant.
That was...
Landslide.
That was a nice feeling. Yeah, that was a very nice feeling. It was only me and a Labour candidate, so it was a bit like... what's the word? It was not, because down in Cornwall it's Conservative, Liberal Democrat. And I was a Liberal Democrat. So for there to be no Conservative and a Labour candidate, it was a bit... Oh, hang on a minute, what do we do here?
Yeah,
This is not the norm, because usually you're telling everyone, well, don't vote Labour, or because they can't win down here, you've got to vote for us to keep the Tories out. And
yeah, of course.
we couldn't do any of that. So, but it was an interesting campaign. Really enjoyed it, because it's the first time I've ever done anything like it. And it was certainly an eye-opener. Yeah.
So why did you pick to become a Liberal Democrat?
Well, lots of reasons, really. Come from a very liberal family, so that's always a starting point. Our former MP, who was a Liberal Democrat, Dan Rodgerson, as a man, I always thought he was a really good bloke, and he was local to Bodmin, so he I would have voted for him. I think whatever party he was,
Right.
I would have voted for him as the man. But he was a Liberal Democrat, and to be honest, I'm quite into politics.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I know everything and I'm really au fait with it. But I do take a keen interest when it comes to general elections. I'm reading manifestos and all the rest of it. And the Liberal Democrat manifesto speaks to me more than the rest of them. There's things I disagree with. Certainly stuff like Trident. I actually one of the people that think we should keep Trident. Especially now as we're heading into more uncertain times.
Yeah.
But they're the ones I agree with mostly. They're pro EU. I know that's like a new thing, and I've been a Lib Dem supporter long before that argument came around. But yeah, that's pretty much it really. Okay. History and beliefs.
Yeah, ideal. That's fine. No problem. Okay, so why did you? What was it about being a town councillor that drew you to it? Is it because you're interested in it in the first place, or is it?
I think I've always thought I'd have a go at it one day.
Yeah.
Always thought one day I'm going to do it. Always believed, probably too young. 29 now. I probably wouldn't have done it, but after everything that's happened this year, I was so disillusioned with politics in general and stuff like that, and I just kept thinking to myself, well, I can't keep thinking like this. If I'm gonna really get angry about it and stuff like that, I should realistically get involved and do something.
Yeah.
And a vacancy come up on the council that was a co-option, and I put my name in for that. That was July, and I was an independent. Went in as an independent then for a co-option.
What's a co-option?
Basically, a co-option is if in between not general elections, but local elections, in between the term, if someone resigns, you have 20 days, I think it is, to for electors, which is members of the public, to request an election. You need 10 signatures, or people that live on the ward to request an election for a by-election.
Right.
If 10 people don't, then it goes to a co-option, which means that the sitting 15, there's 16 councillors on Bodmin Town Council, so there are 15 other councillors will vote on candidates, and they'll vote for the person to come on. I was one of 4, and I wasn't really happy with how, because I one of them didn't. Well, two of them didn't turn up to the co-option. The other one turned up late. I was the only one there that turned up on time. I didn't get any vote. I didn't get one vote, even though I was told by one of the councillors asked me to run.
Right.
So I thought he would vote for me if he asked me to run, which was a bit naughty. And so I thought I didn't never really expected to win. I was coming into it late, but I thought, oh well, we'll see what happens. So there's 4 of us. I got none. Another one got 1. So we were out, and the other 2, I think it was 7 and 6, and then it was a neck and neck between them. They were tied, 7 and 7. They went round 3 times. Then one of them won, but what I really saw was that it was some of the council wanted this man. Some of the council wanted this man, or perhaps didn't want that man, so went with this man, as a alternative. And you could see the sort of like the little plays going on there, and I was like, this isn't right. This this is a battle now. They want to get a man on, and they're just trying to block it. And that shouldn't be how it is.
No.
So I said to myself, well, if another one comes up before, because we're gonna have another proper election in May, I thought, I'm going to call an election. So which one did? Another one resigned in September. So then I went round, got 10 signatures. Well, I got 20.
Right. Wow. Good.
You better to be safe,
Yeah,
just in case, because a few got rejected.
Right.
So I got the election called. Then I thought, well, if I'm going to go in an election, I was already a member of the Liberal Democrats. I've been a member for a little while now. well, since the referendum, I think, is when I joined.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it became an official Lib Dem.
Right.
And I thought, well, I'm actually a Lib Dem member, so it'd probably be a bit disingenuous for me to run as an independent.
Yeah.
I make no secret, that I've ever been a Lib Dem. So I thought, if I'm an independent sitting on the town council, people could then start saying, oh, no, he's a Lib Dem.
You don't want to...
He's a secret Lib Dem, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, well, be fair, be open. I'm a Liberal Democrat. I mean, it doesn't... I don't think party politics really has much of a place on a town council. I'm just saying, they're my colours, but they're not going to make me decide what I think is best for the town. I'm going to decide what I think is best for the town, and what people's views are, and I will represent their views.
I suppose sometimes as well, though, it's good to have that sort of backing as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The level of support I had was crazy. Because there are 2 sitting town councillors that are Lib Dem, and obviously all of Bodmin's Cornwall councillors and the outlying area, they're all Lib Dem. So they even helped my canvassing, doing my leaflets, delivering stuff like that. Yeah. On election day, we had people come down from Launceston. One lady lives at Travone, and she walked to Padstow to get the bus to Bodmin.
You're joking?
Just to knock on doors. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
On election day. Yeah, it was mind blowing. And my election was the same day as the Whitney by-election. So the vast bulk of North Cornwall Liberal Democrats were up there helping the actual Liz Leffman MP candidate.
Is that for like an MP position?
Yeah, for David Cameron's old seat.
Right.
So they didn't tell me that at the time, but they said they took a risk because it was a skeleton crew working on this. Yeah. And for me to win with 70% of the vote was quite something.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was. Yes, a great experience. Yeah,
that's cool. Well, that's quite good that people were willing to do that, and because you don't really see it. That's the thing. I mean, you said you get 70% of the votes, but I think you told me that there was only 300 people.
No, I
had voted.
I had 362 votes.
Right. Yeah.
The Labour candidate had 162 votes.
Right.
So I won by 200 votes.
Yeah.
It was turnout of 15%. It's really poor. Bodmin is a low turnout area. People don't tend to vote in Bodmin. The biggest issue I've got with mine is, one, people weren't happy that I called an election. Believed it was a waste of money. 2, because obviously we're going to have another election. Technically I'm only elected till May, and then I have to go for I have to be re-elected in May.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got a very limited amount of time before I can actually achieve anything. So a lot of people weren't happy about that.
Well, to be honest, by the sounds of it, actually, I think you've achieved quite a lot already. Just for the sake of you understanding what you've done, to get that done in the first place, and I think it shows enthusiasm for what you're going to do. And it will stand you in good stead for the next one around the corner. I mean, obviously, you haven't got much time to do anything, but it takes years to get anything done anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's right. There's a few things happening in the town, and I thought, by May it could be too late, to help these situations and help these people, and so I didn't want to wait till May. I thought,
that's fair enough.
And plus, the fact that I'm 29. I'm the youngest person on the council, on Bodmin Town Council. I'm the only person elected by the people on Town Council.
What?
Yeah.
You're the only person elected on the Town Council?
The last local elections in 2013, 16 candidates stood. There's 16 Town Council spaces, so there's no election. If only 16 people stand, 16 people get put on.
Yeah,
it's a walk-on.
Yeah, of course.
You only have an election if, say, there's 3 wards. One's got 6, 2 have got 5 in each ward. So if 5 stand in that ward, the 5 go on. If 6 stand in the 5 ward, then there's an election. One of them misses out. Last time, 16 people stood, 16 people got on, no election. The last time there was actually an election in Town Council Bodmin was 2012. So I'm the only person that's actually been elected by the people on there. And I thought, well, if people want real change, you know, I'm a younger person. I'm kind of hoping that come May, people my age, younger, around my age, people that know me, perhaps think, do you know what? I want to have a go now. I think,
Yeah.
if he's gone and done it, I want to have a go and maybe lead a new era in.
Yeah.
I just want to get younger people thinking that they
It
can
be
do
done.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think that people don't like at all? Like, I mean, as far as I'm aware, I'm not hugely aware, to be honest, about it. But it seems that there's a lot of older people that are on the town council for one. Not that that's a problem at all, but it's why is it that people, almost people that are retired want to do it rather than the people that are up and coming and know and want to be involved in the change. Why do you think? Why?
It's very time consuming.
Yeah.
Very time consuming. I think for like a lot of the older people, it's something to do.
Yeah,
to get them, to hate to say it, but I think there's people that when they retire, they sort of think
There's a bit of a void there, isn't there? I suppose
my usefulness has run out. There's that, and perhaps joining town councils and parish councils and that's a way for them to still feel like they're needed and carrying on that way. It is time consuming. There's a lot of meetings that are in the day that I can't make because I work.
Yeah, of course.
I just think a lot of people, younger people, they've got better things to do now.
Yeah.
We live in an age where you can play computer games, with your friends. You don't even know you've got your phones. Technology's on to a point now that people have got so much choice of what to do. 50 years ago, you could watch TV, you could go outside and play, you could listen to the radio. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were involved in the
Yeah.
in your community more.
Yeah.
I think like you're almost more included in the bigger picture rather than the smaller picture.
You can be so insular now.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think like podcasting, a great tool to get voices heard and make great content, hours of great free content. But on the flip side, people now don't have to leave a room ever again. They can just put those earplugs in, there is
go wherever they want.
There is a whole world there for them to listen to. They don't have to get involved in anything else. I think there is a big element of that, and plus it's a massively thankless task. I've been a town councillor for about a fortnight now.
Yeah.
2 days after I won the election, I was being slagged off on Facebook. I know it doesn't really count on social media because you've always got your,
there's always someone got
someone's got the hump and all the rest of it. I had people that weren't happy that I actually hadn't done anything yet. And this was after a week. People weren't happy that I didn't know why the council had made the choices they'd made, but why would I know? Because a lot of it is in confidential meetings. So it's very, I don't really know what to say about that.
Yeah, right. Well, you haven't got anything to say. That's the point. You don't know.
Yeah, and when I said that, people jumped on me. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing because I didn't know what. Yeah, and it went from there, and I was just a bit bemused by it all. Like, don't get me wrong, there will come a time where I'm going to make decisions that people aren't happy with.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If the people aren't happy with decisions,
but at least you can stand by your decision and explain your decision.
And I got no problem with that. But I found it very strange for people to have a go at me for not having done anything yet, for not knowing the ins and outs of it a week after I was elected. I mean, my first meeting, I haven't even had a meeting yet. My first meeting is next week. Right. I've been to a committee meeting, but I'm not on any committees yet because I haven't been to a meeting to be elected onto any committees.
Right, yeah.
So I couldn't vote on anything. I could only just sit there and
listen.
Yeah. And so it is. There's procedures into it, and I don't think
it's a very complex thing, isn't it? Really, actually, like when you look at it, because you've already just got your town councillors for a start, and then you've got your county councillors. I think
Cornwall Council.
Yeah, Cornwall County councillors, and then you've got your MPs as well. And I think a lot of people don't actually understand the intricacies in amongst that for one, and they don't even know what
Don't know-
people can do within their jurisdiction and their power, if you like, what they can even do.
Yeah,
in that,
people don't know. Like, I'm been tagged in things where people have been saying about Cornwall councillors. Well, I'm not a Cornwall councillor, and people don't really, people that even voted for me didn't know that I was not a Cornwall councillor.
Yeah.
So that's like, and then when you say, "Oh, look, I'm not a Cornwall councillor," oh no, but you are a councillor, and it's like, yeah, but that's nothing
To do.
You know, as far as that's concerned, I'm no different to a member of the public. One bloke said to me, "Oh, 18 grand a year now, that's good, isn't it?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Well, you get 18 grand a year for being town councillor." I was like, "No, you don't. I think I get £180 a year for fuel expenses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a voluntary role."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people forget that. And like you say, a lot of people don't know the limits of
And
what
they
a
don't
town
know
council can do.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, there's only so much. But the good thing with being a Liberal Democrat is that all the Cornwall councillors are Liberal Democrats in Bodmin. So we're like a little team. So if someone does have a problem, like at the moment, I'm helping a disabled man get a disabled parking bay outside his house or as near to his house as possible.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I never done anything like this. It's the first time I've ever done it. So who do I message? Call Matt, do I want? So I'll get together with the town councillors. We discuss it. Then we move it up. The Cornwall councillor comes in and we have a chat with her. She gets the ball rolling. She's emailing the officers and stuff like that. And we get together, have a meeting, and we're going to hopefully get him a disabled bay. But whereas if I was an independent, I wouldn't really know.
You'd have to fend for yourself, wouldn't
Yeah. And whereas as the Liberal Democrat, we're in a team now, and that's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Especially as we've got the 3 Bodmin Cornwall councillors, are all Lib Dem, so we can work right across the whole of Bodmin. Even though I'm elected for St Leonard's ward, I'm a town councillor, so I'll represent the whole town.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it's not just if someone rings me up from say St Mary's ward, and it's not my problem, ring that councillor. I will help all that I can.
Yeah.
So that's quite good.
Brilliant.
But a lot of misinformation out there and a lot of lack of understanding. Like
Well, maybe you could clear it up slightly then. Now, let's talk this. Maybe we could get to an understanding of the difference maybe between the town councillor, the county councillors, and the local MPs. Just sort of like a brief, or let's just try and understand the difference starting from.
I'll do my best. As
do
I've
your
said before,
best.
I'm a novice.
Yeah, that's
so.
fine.
Bodmin Town Council is essentially we're the representatives of the people of Bodmin. There is properties around Bodmin. Like there's the Shire Hall, the Shire House, public rooms, the toilets, car parks, certain car parks. Certain car parks are Bodmin Town Council. Certain car parks are owned by Cornwall Council. Yeah. So they're run differently, which is another thing that people don't really understand. I still don't quite understand why we own some and they own some.
Fair enough.
But so we basically are in charge of those sorts of things, financing, trying to get funding for projects out of the town. If people have an issue, they come to us, and then we can go to Cornwall Council. Cornwall Council as a whole, they run the county.
Yes.
They're the ones that have the hotlines to Cormac, Cornwall Housing. They can help those sorts of problems. They're the ones that make the big decisions, like which has just happened today actually with the leisure centres in Cornwall. Greenwich Leisure Limited have won the tender. Tempest, as from next year, April next year, won't be running Cornwall Leisure Centres anymore.
Oh, right, I didn't know that.
They did bid, but they lost in their bid.
Okay.
Greenwich Leisure is actually a charity.
Yeah.
So all profit they make gets put back into the leisure centres. No leisure centre will close.
Wow.
As far as I'm aware. I think they own 200 leisure centres at them now, and they've promised to plumb 7.5 million into the leisure centres to refurbish and bring them all up to standard. Wow. There's also I'm trying to think what it was called now, but I can't remember. It was a skills thing. So if you're a swimmer with a certain amount of talent, they can identify that and then move them up and hopefully get
Oh,
them.
wow, that's cool.
You know, because Cornwall's we're quite far reached from London and the big cities. We don't have the infrastructure for, say, Olympic athletes, and you know that they can reach that potential. But hopefully, with that link now, these sort of athletes could reach their potential, and instead of having the odd one every 10 years that you think, wow, could increase the flow and you know and help people realise their potential. So I actually think it's going to be a great benefit to the county having them come in and take over.
Yeah, that would be great. But obviously, we kind of went off a little bit there.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so that's right.
Yeah.
But
so these make those decisions. Libraries, they're the ones that make decisions on the libraries, the roads. They give the go ahead with all the projects. You know, they're the ones that did the Park and Ride in Truro, the Bodmin roadworks. You know, the Bodmin Town Council can say, oh, we like this idea, let's go with it. But ultimately, the decision is down to Cornwall Council. And of course, then they get their funding from central government.
Yeah.
Which is then your MPs,
and they're the ones fighting to get the
in
money
Parliament, and they're the ones that talk in Parliament, or it's not, as our MPs seem to be doing at the minute,
right?
Cutting us off every minute. You know, we've got boundary changes coming soon, which will merge North Cornwall with Devon.
Yeah.
And all the Cornish MPs, all the 6 Cornish Conservative MPs voted to agree with that. They agree that Cornwall has no distinct heritage or culture or should be kept separate from the rest of England, which I think is a disgrace.
Yeah, me too. That's awful.
And I actually think that it puts, like maybe in Kernow, you know, they're a Cornwall party, when others constituency, that half of the voters know, you know, it doesn't appeal to them. So
yeah, of course,
they can only realistically now fight for 5 seats, and that's not fair on them. Even though I'm not a member of that party.
No.
There's a lot of problems, especially now with like the EU referendum. We're coming out of that. You know, we've voted to leave in Cornwall, and then Cornwall Council have said to the government, "Oh, but we'll get the EU funding offset by government," and they've sort of said, "No, you're on your own. From 2020, you're on your own." So that's frightening when you think about.
Yeah.
Is it £2 billion we've had invested in Cornwall from the EU? So.
We could it's
could
just
go on about
a
that
never ending, isn't it? Like it's like you're talking there, and there's just questions and questions and frustrations just coming out all the time. I mean, I didn't mean to sort of cut you off about the leisure centres, because that's actually something I'm quite interested in, because I worked at the Dragon Leisure Centre in Bodmin for a long time, and actually through the period of where it went to one council from the 7 councils anyway.
Oh yeah, when it turned into a unitary.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm quite passionate about that, and that's why I was quite pleased to hear what you were saying about it. But yeah, I mean, to summarise what you were saying then about the 3 branches of the local government, basically the town council is almost like a feeder for the county council to decide upon where the money gets spent across the county. So you might put forward 4, 5, 6 ideas, for example, or projects that you need to get done, and they might say, well, we've got money to do that one, but we haven't got money to do that one because it comes under different parts of money or whatever, and they've got some other projects across the county somewhere else. And
do you remember a couple of years ago there was an adventure park that was a project that Cornwall Council were doing, and so Bodmin Town Council was one of them that tendered for it, promoted Bodmin, said it was going to be at Hillside Park, and in the end Red Reef got it.
Right.
And it led to a big argument that West Cornwall gets favoured more than East Cornwall to the Cornwall Council, and caused a lot of friction actually. Yeah. But it's those sorts of things that they do, and also Bodmin Town Council are planning applications as well. So they deal with that. And it's more central to the town, helping the townspeople, but then relaying that on to Cornwall Council, and Cornwall Council is what really is what that decide what happens to the roads and all the rest of it, and which is an independent led council. A lot of people seem to think it's a Lib Dem led council, but it's not actually. We are in a coalition with the independents, so they lead the council.
Oh right, okay. I see. So it's like almost like a mini. It is like a mini government mini government.
Yeah,
Well, I suppose
yeah.
Actually it really is, but you don't always think about it like
No,
that.
that's right. No, like local government deals with the local issues.
Yeah.
National government deal with the national issues, and county government deal with the county issues. It's almost as simple as that.
Yeah.
Although it's not, if you're not without
of course.
getting into the real nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah,
which,
right.
Yeah,
We may be able to tackle that on another podcast, perhaps. But okay, that's all brilliant. Actually, it's quite cool because my next question is kind of what were your main concerns and main sort of policies and things that you want to implement. I mean, obviously, we've come to the point where, well, I've discovered now that actually you're sort of fighting. What you're doing is fighting for your people to get something done, and you're requesting or talking to the Cornwall Council to get stuff done. So what kind of things are you keen to try and get done in Bodmin?
Well,
change.
It's difficult because I genuinely wanted to do it just to help Bodmin, and help. I lived in Bodmin all my life, and that's 29 years now.
Yeah.
I got 2 little girls. I had a happy childhood. Bodmin, I want them to.
Mm-hmm.
Bodmin for me has sort of lost its way. We used to have
agree.
like Heritage Day is a day in Bodmin, a bit like our version of Maisie Day and La Frauda and things like that. It's a much smaller event. But when we were younger, used to have the procession through the town with the kids dancing. That's gone. Heritage Day now it's become a real pale shadow of its former self, and I would actually really like to see more investment to that. We got the Bodmin Fireworks Night, and in my opinion, it's the best fireworks event in Cornwall and half of Devon.
Yeah. I actually think that's the best thing that Bodmin does.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah,
I've said that before.
It's the event of the year.
It is.
It's like Christmas lights. I know we have had problem with vandals, but the Christmas lights, that's gone downhill. We used to have amazing, Christmas decorations through the town and all the rest of it, and that's slowly decreased. I know there's a problem with issues with vandalism, and all the rest of it, but it's.
But that frustrates me because it's just sort of giving. It's almost giving in to the vandals.
Yeah.
Oh, it's vandals, so it's going to cost us money. It's, no, put it up bigger and better than last time.
Yeah.
That's my view anyway.
It's almost like we closed Denison Road car parks toilets because of vandalism, drug users, and other things that we won't get into. But in the end, it became so expensive to keep repairing it, and they just closed it. They closed it off. Which is fine, but now we're going to be the cycle hub, for Lanhydrock at the Camel Trail, Carden, and we're going to link all these together. If we do get the massive influx of people that is hoped, they're going to need toilets.
Yeah.
So I have suggested to them before, not in any official capacity, but that perhaps we should be thinking about paying 20p to use the toilets. They do it in other towns. At the end of the day, if you need the toilet, you're going to pay 20p for it.
Yeah.
But if I want, if I'm an addict or just want to smash it up, I'm not going to pay 20p to get in there.
No.
So I think that's something we should look at.
That frustrates me. There's one in St Mawes. I do a lot of deliveries down there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's one in St Mawes, and I went to go to the toilet the other day, and I didn't have 20p on me. And it was actually no, I did have 20p on me, and I put it in there, but it shut. It shuts at 5 o'clock. I was just like, this is annoying. This is St Mawes. This is like one of the richest places in Cornwall. I was like, you can't afford to keep toilets open, your town council. But no, I totally understand. Like, if you're spending, thousands of pounds every year just to keep the toilet open, I can kind of understand it. But at the same time, like, it is a difficult one because everyone should be able to go to the bloody toilet for free.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I know what you mean. But like, when it gets to the issues of vandalism and all the rest of it,
when you've got assholes,
you have to you have to balance it out. It's there's a lot of things, which I mean, just talking with like the officers and stuff like that of Bodmin Town Council, it's really opened my eyes. Like I didn't really know why they, so there have been many times I go, wow, why are they doing that, bloody idiots, and then they actually explain their position, and you think, oh, actually that makes a lot of sense. I'd also like to see there's an ongoing issue at the minute with Hillside Park. Bodmin Jail wants to buy the land and turn it into a car park.
Okay.
I have an issue with it because I think that there's something to be done with that land that could benefit everyone.
Is this the bit by where the camel trail sort of goes under the bridge and that, and then there's quite a big bit of grass down the side,
They're coming up to Hillside and then
Yeah.
up to Cardale Road. Yeah, and my biggest issue actually is I don't think those roads can handle that level of traffic, not without major detriment to the residents. And actually, I'm on the town council. They're the people I have to think about.
Yeah.
I understand there's the leak underneath it is in need of repair, and you're talking $250,000 to repair it at least. Although I can understand why some councillors want to think, oh, sell it to the jail, they'll repair it, and their business will be booming. Ideal win-win, creates jobs. I can understand that. I can, but also I also think, well, we pay our taxes to repair the leak. And things like that, and the leak's been there for hundreds of years. It's not like we've just there's a leak there. We knew about it. We should have been making as a council making plans for it when it needs repairs. And then perhaps put a little car park there, and then maybe if we're going to be a bike hub, maybe a mountain bike trail for kids.
There's quite a lot of space there.
There used to be a park there.
Yeah.
Maybe another park. Maybe the outdoor ping pong tables like they have in Exeter. Maybe a little cafe. If we're going to be a cycle hub and a cycle town. Do we really want the gateway to our town from the Camel Trail being a massive car park for the jail? Or do we want it to be something that people can come off and go, wow?
Yeah.
And then make them want to come into Bodmin.
See what the rest of it is like.
Think this is good. Let's see what else there is.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
I think there's an argument for that. So that's an ongoing issue. And there are other things.
The thing is, there's plenty of room there to maybe... Because there is a mini sort of car park there already. Like very...
The Camel Trail car park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could quite easily move that just to over...
Make
a slightly bigger car park, share it with the jail, and then, like you said, pretty it up and make it very welcoming and like a cafe. A cafe would be brilliant there. Or, or even, maybe not, or invite them towards the jail... to make use of that and
they'll
stuff.
see it. The jail's there and all the rest of it. And I always think, like, if you've got a cafe there, they're going to have to pay rent to the council because if we got the cafe, we'll own it. Little car park makes money for the council. Therefore, they can lower their precept. And that means, although admittedly, the amount of your taxes that actually goes to town council is really small.
Yeah.
I think in Bodmin it's £2 out of every 100. So it's not, not mass. It's not masses. But if you can lower that a little bit, then surely that's a win-win for everyone. And I've got ideas that maybe we could do a park and ride from Mount Folly. There's lots of car parks around there. Then it could invite people into the town. I would actually also like to see 4th Street park pedestrianised, maybe like from 9 till 6.
Yeah.
And because the biggest problem with Bodmin is that change comes very, very few and far between.
Yeah.
We've got big change there now. People don't like it. And some of them have got really valid reasons, and I understand that. I can understand people aren't happy with it. But a lot of people are just wary of the change it's going to bring. Because if we lived in a city, these changes would be bang, bang.
Yeah.
I mean, London's a building site.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10... that street's changed. It's changing all the time. We don't get that here, so people they're a little bit more wary of the change. And it's the same with the town centre. People are fighting for the town centre, and they're blaming supermarkets and out of town shops. But actually, the biggest killer of the town centre, all those supermarkets and out of town retail parks have added to it. The main thing, in my opinion, is online shopping. That's what's killed the town centre, because you don't need to go to the bank anymore. Yeah.
That's the same across the board, though, anywhere. It's not just Bodmin.
No, that's everywhere. That is everywhere.
Place. And it all of it plays a part, like you said. The supermarkets plays its part, and the online shopping plays its part. I mean, I see that firsthand with my delivery job. And, you can't get away from it. But also, on the one part about Bodmin is, basically the whole main street is grade 2 listed or something.
Yeah.
Like almost all of it, and it goes back so far.
Yeah.
You can't. Not that you'd want to touch the buildings, because I think it's quite.
It can be picturesque.
It's got that character to it of
Yeah.
an old historic market
Yeah.
town, and that's what the one thing that frustrates me about Bodmin is that it says on the signs historic market town, but it's an industrial town.
Yeah.
It's an industrial town now, and that's where I think that's where Bodmin's gone wrong. But,
Yeah. And the biggest problem with Bodmin is it's a former garrison town.
Yes.
And I think that brings a mentality, a cheap and cheerful mentality that so you get when fancier places have tried it, they just fail because people aren't after fancy in Bodmin, they're after cheap and cheerful.
Yeah.
And but going back onto the town centre.
Yes. Yeah.
The thing with town centre is it's no longer a place to do business. You don't go to the town centre to go to the fishmonger, the butcher, the baker, and do all your jobs. You don't go to the bank, don't go to the post office. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
The town centre now is a place to socialise and meet up with friends. So what you want is I say to pedestrianise it, cafes, tables and chairs out there. Make people want to come into the town centre, to see their friends, to have a drink. The shops then come as a byproduct of that because they're down there. Oh, we'll have a look in here. We'll buy. Oh look, there's a butcher there. We'll get some meat while we're here.
Yeah.
And that's how you need to attack it now. That's what I feel anyway.
I think that's a good way to attack it. The only thing is, you said that the shops come after you've got your cafes and what have you. But there's only so many cafes you can have because
I totally agree with that.
It's trying to find. I think it's trying to find something new and different, but that can kind of keep the character to it. But it's finding that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's only so many cafes that Bodmin can support,
definitely.
isn't there? And then
I mean, you look at Honey Street, the small pedestrian area. There's 2 cafes and 2 pubs. Two cafes?
I think there's 2 or 3 cafes. You've got, is it
cafes.
Scoffs and the Frog, the
Green Frog.
The Green Frog, yeah.
There was Conservatory Snacks. I don't know if that's still there, or whether that may have gone now. I can't remember. And then there's 2 pubs. Then you've got another cafe that admittedly is closed during the roadworks and will reopen after the roadworks.
Right.
There's a quite new one that's down the bottom of Honey Street. So we've already, like you say, we've got quite a lot there, just on that little bit. And you look at the rest of the town, you got one and you got one cafe and a Costa.
Yeah.
And that's a big long stretch.
Yeah.
You get a couple more in there, and get the tables and the chairs out. And especially places like Malcolm Barnecott's pasty, they could have a table and chairs out.
Yeah.
People could sit and eat the pasty there and stuff like that. All of a sudden, changes the whole dynamic of the town.
You could do with something like make it like an arts place. You could do like maybe that's just something, but like you could have people playing music. Like you get buskers and stuff.
Yeah.
But like make a point of it.
Yeah.
Like make a section. That's
They do it in Penzance, and they have bands come and they'll perform on there on a Saturday morning. When it's busy. There's an element of that. Then and there's also the things like like if you've got a real nice town centre that people want to come to, Heritage Day will improve.
Yeah.
Bodmin Town Carnival, they're trying to revive that, and actually this year did a first one, and it was a real good success. I mean, not the best carnival in the world, but considering the work they've put in for year 1, it'll only get better. And the level, if it keeps the level of support it's got, that'll come, and we can regain our community. I think Bodmin's lost its community spirit a little bit.
Yeah,
you used to have the carnival. You used to do all these things, all these events along the calendar, and they've slowly gone and died out. And if we can bring that element of community spirit back, because you do see it.
That's where you get positive change, isn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of everyone sort of like these roadworks that are going on. You just mentioned everybody I've heard from is just negative about it all the time. Personally, I was well for the original plans that they had for putting a road through the Priory Link Road.
Yeah,
I was up for that because I just think it was the best move. But there's too many people that stood up and said no.
Yeah.
Somehow this has gone through, even though everyone's sort of been so negative about it. It's still managed. It's been done, and the council, the Bodmin needs some money spent on it to be at the end of the day. Like it's
$7.5 million of investment.
There's money there. You can't argue with it, and it's not even actually going to. From what I can understand, it's not really going to improve the traffic flow, but it might make it look a bit prettier. That's just sort of as far as I'm aware.
If it looks prettier, though, people might want to take care a bit more.
That's it, exactly. And there's like, oh, sorry, I've kind of lost my train of thought there.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. There's so what was I saying? Yeah, so like the negativity towards the council for what they plan. So they're planning with the roadworks and stuff, and the negativity towards it is anything the council put forward. There's a negative. A negative thought towards it. It doesn't matter what they put through.
No, it doesn't.
Just don't.
You can't please everyone.
No.
And I think
it's almost like you can't please anyone.
there is an element that if the council is almost there to be blamed, it's something to blame. The big bad council. I mean, when people say the council, they don't know if they're talking about Bodmin Town Council, Cornwall Council, and they don't forget there's Cornwall Council, the council there where the councillors sit and decide, and then there's Cornwall Council, the civil servants and the officers that work. So there's actually two wings of Cornwall Council as well.
Yeah.
That people don't, and all three are just an amalgamation of a big faceless thing that people don't like. You know, and that's fair enough. My biggest issue with like shared space and the moaners is it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. People that don't live in Bodmin look on Facebook, see everyone moaning about it.
Yeah.
Then the papers now are picking it up. Oh, Bodmin's closed. Oh, the residents in uproar. Well, all the people outside of Bodmin are going to see that. Well, they're not going to come, are they?
No, that's it.
Know, but if those two had not said anything, people would have probably came into Bodmin, discovered actually the roadworks probably add about 15 minutes more to your day, but not a lot more.
No.
But my biggest issue with a lot of the doomsayers is at first, they moan that a lot of people moan that they weren't consulted, but the actual reality was that nobody actually cared.
No.
Nobody actually cared. No one bothered to turn up.
They didn't see.
I didn't turn up to the meetings.
No.
To be honest, I heard about it. Yeah, go for it. You know, that was my, as far as Bodmin needs investment, it'll either die slowly, you know, or
try and fight
it, and try and do something. So I just thought, well, I'm not 100% convinced it's the best thing, but there's no other offer on it's that or nothing. Nothing was not an option for me.
Yeah.
So and then when it happens, everyone started caring about it. And it's the scheme. We've got no problem with roadworks if the scheme was right.
Yeah.
That was what they said to begin with. Now they're always blaming the roadworks. Oh, the signage is bad. Oh, they're all coming down my road. Oh, no one knows what they're doing. It's the roadworks' fault. It's the road. So what they actually, but if we'd had a different scheme, the roadworks would still have been the same.
Yeah.
They would have, any major thing would have caused this level of disruption.
Yeah.
What are they actually upset about? Are they upset about the actual scheme, or are they just upset about the roadworks? The impact that has on their daily life, because like I said, they're not used to change. These things don't happen very often.
No, that's it.
So it's
it's funny because like everyone says, the people that say no, I don't want this, that, or the other, they are the loudest people in the room.
Yeah.
And then the people that are sort of like all right with it, they're just like, we're all right with it. They don't.
And then get shouted down. To be fair.
Yeah, that's it. Because if you're upset about something, you generally are going to be louder about something.
What really gets me is I would love to see change in Bodmin and Bodmin Town Council. If I would love to see 50 people stand up as candidates, and there'd be a massive election in May, and the public actually pick 16 people that they want to represent them.
Yeah,
brilliant. In May, will that happen? Don't know.
Not if people give a shit.
You get a lot of people, and especially like a lot of the people that are there. Oh, it's wrong. Oh, the town council, and then someone will say to them, "You should do it." Oh, no, they don't want me on there. Well, and I. What really frustrates me as a person, I mean, people do forget that I am just a person that lives in Bodmin that wants to do best for the town. I have a young family. Yeah. My parents grew up in Bodmin. I grew up in Bodmin. My children are growing up in Bodmin. I love this town. I want to do the best for it. Everyone was saying they wanted change. They wanted someone different. They wanted someone to stand up and have a go. So I thought, right, I'll stand up and have a go. And as soon as I've stood up and had a go, I'm getting barracked for it, And it's like,
I wouldn't let that. I would say, don't let that put you off.
It doesn't, no.
Because I think actually everything you've said here is, like, I think it does come from the heart what you said and everything, and I think you're doing it all for the right reasons, and should just
Oh, yeah,
going
no,
with it and do your best with what
Yeah.
you get given.
I
'cause
understand. I understand.
There's no one else doing it. And
Everyone's going to moan.
you're
about
giving the
something.
young person a voice at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'd like
And
to
I
think like
that's very important.
like I would listen to. I know a lot. As I said, I've lived in Bodmin all my life, so I know a lot of people from the area. So I think people know that they can come to me at any time with any problem, and I'll help them. And plus, with issues, I'm planning to. It's like I said with the Hillside Park and the jail thing. I'm actually planning in the next week or so to go out down to Hillside and the estates around, and just get the people's general view.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if I'm gonna make a decision on what happens to that place, I want to know what the people actually think.
Yeah.
I have spoken to a few people and that are really dead against it. But at the end of the day, if I just say, right, well, those two people are angry about it, they've taken the time to write to me, I better be against it. But like you say, a lot of people that are okay with it are okay with it.
Yeah.
They just won't say anything. So I'm their representative. I should I should go down there, knock on doors, get people's actual views, and make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, those people shouting the loudest may not be the majority.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, we've talked a lot about Bodmin and
Yeah.
everything. It's brilliant. But that actually like what you just said there. Actually, what I want to do with this podcast is talk to so many people and get a clear idea of what's going on, rather than quick tweets and quick Facebook posts or just snippets in the paper that no one really probably reads.
No, that's
and I'm hoping that we can make some more connections like this and across the board. Anyway, let's come away from Bodmin a little bit and talk about what do you think about Cornwall as a whole and where it's going? Do you have much of a view on that at all?
I'm nervous, to be honest. Especially as with Brexit, I don't think a lot of people in not just Cornwall, in Britain, really understood the impact that this decision is going to have on our future and everything else, and especially in Cornwall, where with one of the poorest counties in Britain, that actually the EU said we were so poor we needed funding, gave us all this money that now is going to end, and the government have said, well, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a big problem down the line when people start to realise how much the EU did fund. We did, really did. So that does worry me. And again, with the boundary changes in that's another thing. It's just blurring the edges. And
well, that looks like to me like they're trying to stop any sort of because Scotland are they wanted to go independent. They had their referendum, didn't they? And Wales had their thing. And there's a small move there. There's not a small movement really, but there's a movement through Cornwall that's similar to that.
Yeah.
And I think what they're probably trying to do there is trying to
stop
the divide.
Try and play away the fact that we are, because I'm a proud Cornishman, and we are a distinct cultural heritage. We are different. We are a Celtic people. Yeah. That are distinctly different from Englishmen.
Yes.
And there's nothing. I'm a proud British man as well.
Yeah.
If in my perfect world, Cornwall would be a constituent nation of Britain.
Yes.
And no problem with that. But I think it would be great if we had more devolution to us. More powers handed. To govern ourselves, which David Cameron did promise to us. Never happened, but he did promise it. So he's gone now. But yeah, so it's things like that. Really get my goat is we are so distinct, and I would love to see a future where we do get more power handed to us to make our own decisions. Because I know we're not an economic powerhouse. All the rest of it. We got tourism is our main thing, and we could benefit from Brexit that way. Especially with the pound being so weak. It'd be more expensive for people to go abroad, so they may come down here. And also with the pound being weak, all of a sudden it opens up poorer countries' tourism to come here because the exchange rate is better more in their favour. So there is swings and roundabouts that way. I think Cornish farming will probably be decimated once the subsidiaries stop, and they will stop eventually. I know the government have said they will continue it, but it won't last forever. And especially when they start trying to cut pensions to find the money. And, this is my biggest. I know a lot of people won't agree with me with Brexit, but little simple fact for you. And someone actually said to me it's a twisted fact, but I don't know how I can twist this fact. Since the EU referendum, Britain has lost £660 billion in purchasing power. That's £10,000 a head for every person in the country. It would take us 10 years, best case scenario with Brexit, to get back to where we were 6 months ago. Nissan threatened to leave. Our government is now going to pay them money, our tax money, I might add, pay Nissan any offset, of in costs they may incur by having to pay out on tariffs or anything if they do come to trade with the rest of Europe, just keep them here.
Yeah.
So we're now paying, and that's setting a precedent, because we're now, if any big company wants to leave the country and move to an EU country and set up operations there, we're going to pay them our taxes to keep them here, where 6 months ago they were happily doing it for free.
Yeah.
And this is the problem for me. The pound in our pocket is 20% worth 20% less than it was, and we were poor enough as it were in the first place. It is worrying times for us.
I mean, I voted to leave the EU myself.
Yeah,
but that was not. I didn't do it. I didn't think about Cornwall in general.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do it because I just want to throw a spanner in the works to all the people that are running the show up the top.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
I actually think a lot of people that voted leave. They
I think that was the major thing. People say like the immigration and stuff, and I think that was a big part for a lot of people. But I think what the difference in the vote was people wanting to, just like this Donald Trump situation and Hillary Clinton situation in America.
I agree with you.
That's what swayed the vote.
I agree, because they actually think if there was a referendum tomorrow, 10% of the Leavers would vote Remain. Because they just a lot of people, like you say, a lot of people it was a protest. Quite a few people didn't really understand what they were doing.
No.
Yeah. And it's like immigration is. I know, again, I'm going to get a lot of people's backs up saying it, but our immigration problem is a myth. We don't have an immigration problem. That is something that has been spilled up by right-wing media to scare people. Where are they? Where are all these immigrants that are stealing our jobs? Where are all these people that are clogging up the NHS? The only immigrants I can see on the NHS are the ones that are doctors and nurses.
Yes.
The NHS would collapse tomorrow if all the immigrants left.
Yeah, totally. The people that are making the problem with the NHS are the people that are running the NHS.
Yeah, people get that. We didn't, it's like you can't get a doctor's appointment because Tories said they were going to cut funding to the NHS.
Yeah.
You got cuts. You voted for cuts. You got cuts. It's not because a Hungarian is sat in a queue.
And it's not even just the cuts. There was one thing that annoyed me about, like, previously when they outsourced the leisure centres.
Yeah.
It's the additional management that are in place.
Yeah.
They've done exactly the same with the NHS. In Cornwall, you've got all the separate places, or like several surgeries or whatever, all come under one trust. And then in that trust, you've got a chairman or a managing director type person, and then you've got all their managers again. And then you've got all the managers again in the other thing, where you only had that one branch of management before.
Yeah.
And it's like
they're fracturing it.
Yeah, you're just adding and adding and adding. And like, this is what annoyed me about the one council situation was the same, was they'd done exactly this. Actually, it kind of took away from that. But then what they've done is outsourced all the stuff.
Yeah.
Tempest Leisure, Cormac. So then they've got all this extra management in place, and it just adds to the costs. And not only that, you're adding to because then those companies have to make money, so they're charging more than what they were paying in the first place. And I don't know, we could. Yeah, there's just so much, isn't there?
It's terrifying.
You could never get across. You could never figure it all out, and you just. I don't know. You just got to chip away at each little bit as you go.
I find we live in terrifying times.
Yeah.
In general, I mean, we've had, like, Trump has just won the presidential election. Although I'm not 100% convinced he's going to be a terrible president. I actually think a lot of it was bluster just to get votes, and now he's in. He's not the biggest. People say, you say he's an idiot. All right, yeah, he is an idiot. I'm not going to defend anything I said, but
he's a clever idiot though.
He's a successful businessman. He knows, he knows his stuff. He knows enough to know, and he's got a whole array of people around him that will rein him in. He can, so it's not. But
doesn't really get away with murder.
But then there is that one argument that, people that don't know history are doomed to repeat it, and we're looking at a rise of right wing nationalism. Well, the last time that happened, we had a Second World War.
Yeah.
And people look now at what's happening, like with Putin and everything else, and they say, "Oh no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen," because none of us now remember the bad times.
No, that's
my grandparents were born during the war, so they can't remember it.
No, that's right.
So the generation that can remember it and remember what it was like, they're almost gone. So now we're coming into this new thing. Like if you told a person in 1924 that in 15 years' time we're going to have a war bigger than the one we've just had, you get laughed out of the room. But it happened.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, if we're not careful, as a people, if we're not careful, we could end up falling into that same trap.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, that's got nothing to do with Cornwall. So.
No, but well, we're all affected by it, and that's where it goes to, isn't it? That's where it goes to. No matter how small you start, we started with town council, and no matter how much you try to keep it there, it all goes back up there.
Yeah, that's certainly true.
Right, we've basically done an hour already.
Okay,
which is awesome. I did want to quickly talk about what's your day job then? Let's quickly talk about.
Okay, my day job. I part of a family business. We wholesale fruit and veg to restaurants, hotels, shops. But we also have our own shop, which is actually our primary focus now. We used to more focus on the wholesale aspect, but as it's gone on, it's a different market now. Well, there aren't the pubs and restaurants out there like there used to be. Not in our area, let's say, because we do North Cornwall primarily. So you've got the bits on the coastal areas, but actually inside there's those pubs, the village pubs, and all the rest of it. They're not the places they used to. Some of them are. Some have been done really well. Like Llanivit pub. That's that's quite a busy pub. But places like Halfway Houses, both of them, it's 30 years ago. You could go there, have a few beers, go home, and have a. You can't do that now. If you go there, so those sorts of pubs are struggling because you can't drive there, can you?
No.
But yeah, so now we're primarily focusing on our shop. It's in Bodmin, and I've been doing that pretty much out of school.
Yeah.
Working with my dad. He started it in 1985, I want to say. So
really?
Yeah.
So about the same time as you were born then?
Yeah, a couple years, 2 years older than me, the business. So yeah.
That's similar to me. I like to think that with my family's business. So do you stock local produce then, or is it a mixture? Or?
Mixture. We always, if you can source it locally, we'll have it locally. Then if you can't source it locally, we source it nationally. And if you can't source it nationally, go to Europe. You can't go to Europe, you go to the rest of the world. So we're very do think of food miles, but at the same time, we're quite. Our shop is quite unique because we actually have the traffic to buy more exotic things. Like you go to your normal fruit and veg shops, they stock the bog standards and all the rest of it. Well, I think we've got like 12 different varieties of apples at the minute. Not many shops are going to have that. No. We can get like all your exotic Thai stuff that a lot of people like Galangal and stuff. People don't really stock that, but if people are looking for it, we can get that.
Yeah.
So we can offer quite a big range where which other shops can't. If that makes sense. But we always source local. Like pumpkins, that was local. Well, most of them were. Some of them actually came from the Cotswolds, but then, go nationally then. So this time of year, you're talking cabbages, collies, swede, obviously potatoes. They're always local.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of stuff at the minute. All your fruits. Cornwall's a bit of a funny place because you can't really grow plums down here.
Right.
not good ones anyway. So there's no real plum growers. Apple growers, apple's another one. There's no real apple plantations for edible apples. Most of it is cider, like Healy Cider Farm, places like that. There's mainly cider apples. So most of the apples you buy come from Evesham, Somerset, that sort of area.
Okay.
Kent is another one.
Yeah.
So yeah, and pears are the same. You don't see much. Well, a lot of it's gone now. I mean, when I started, you used to have Cornish mushroom grower, and that's gone. There's no Cornish mushrooms now. Not on any massive scale. It's just quite sad.
It's the type of thing, again, when I was talking to Mike Dye the other day about his milking business, like, it's similar sort of things. A lot of the smaller companies die out and get bought out by bigger companies, and then it gets moved more centrally to wherever they are, and I think that's just a period of time. And I think even though everyone wants more locally sourced products, they still want everything. They still want bananas, but you can't grow bloody bananas.
No.
So
people want locally sourced stuff as long as it's not too expensive.
Yeah.
It's like organic. Before the 2008 banking crisis, everyone wanted organic. Organic was the big thing. I mean, and I know, trust me when I say this, there is no advantage to eating organic. There's no benefit. It is rubbish. Organic stuff is unsustainable. If the whole world decided that we were only going to eat organic fruit and vegetables and meat, we couldn't do it.
We'd run out.
You'd have to clear the Amazon rainforest just to grow enough crops organically to grow enough, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if you're not using pesticides and all the rest of it, it's unsustainable, and it's a lot of money for stuff that's actually poorer quality because it's not had the protection. But people get on these health food gimmicks.
Yeah, and people want to be more natural to a lot of things, don't they?
Yeah, and they read a magazine that tells you it's really good, and you get like
that's it.
And that's the biggest problem, like, because I'm really into my science and all the rest of it. So you see these like quacks, and they start saying stuff, and you know it's not right, but people buy into it. And it makes them a lot of money. None of those people are living in small houses.
No,
that's for sure. But that died off. That disappeared.
Taking a back seat now, isn't it?
Yeah, because
people. It has turned to the local more than the sort of organic, hasn't it? I think.
After before 2008, we used to sell loads of different fancy stuff, really exotic sort of things. Then the banking crisis happened. The economy fell and crashed and all the rest of it. And even though we've recovered now, people haven't gone back to those fancy ways.
Yeah.
I can remember, like, one year we were even to the point where, like, melons and pineapples and stuff like that, even stuff that is exotic, but you would usually have one in your fruit bowl.
Yeah.
Those sales just went, but carrots, potatoes, apples, pears, whoosh, up they went, because people just stopped buying the other stuff and went simple.
It's an interesting time with all this as well. Like, there's a total dichotomy with it as well.
Yeah.
I think what I don't understand, this is something that's actually, I think, it's a bit of a crossover with what the two things we've discussed. What I don't understand is we've got trees. Cornwall's got lots of trees.
Yeah.
But they're just trees. Why can't we plant fruit trees down? I know the problem with this is it might collapse your business, but what I'm saying is, like West Heath Avenue in Bodmin, there's trees all down the side. Why can't they be apple trees and pear trees or whatever trees? So they're still trees, but they're fruit trees or whatever. Why is that not a thing?
I suppose, speaking specifically of West Heath Avenue, fruit trees aren't that big.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I
see.
You would have to maintain them a lot, whereas the trees that are on there, I don't know what type of trees they are, probably oak trees and sycamores and stuff like that. Yeah. They grow quite big, so the actual bushy tree bit is far up above the cars and the vans and the lorries, whereas that wouldn't happen with a fruit tree. The fruit, especially apple trees, they're not massive.
No.
But then I suppose it's whether, because Cornwall is quite an unprotected landmass. We've got ocean around us from three sides. The wind hits us, and we can get hit really harshly with weather. suppose fruit trees and that, they're delicate. You know, that's why you always find most of the fruit places are more inland. You know, you know, Camel Valley, they only grow good wines because they're in the valley. You know, they're not doing it on top of the hill. They're a bit more protected down there, so I suppose that's an element of it as well. But otherwise, I don't know. Yeah.
I suppose it's like we're just kind of. I just think of it because it's just. I just look at it back.
It does make sense now you think
years,
about it.
Yeah, years and years and years back when we would pick we wouldn't grow the trees. The trees would grow and we'd pick the fruit.
Yeah.
Or what have you. I just think that we kind of lost that a little bit, and I don't think. I just think it would be something that would be a good idea, but it's like hard to facilitate.
When you're younger and you go out and get hazelnuts with my grandparents, we used to get on Cardinham and pick hazelnuts.
Yeah, and chestnuts and stuff.
Yeah,
chestnuts everywhere. That's pretty cool. What about is something we mentioned supermarkets earlier. That's a big competitor of yours, I suppose.
Oh, massive. Yeah, massive.
How do you feel about them?
Hate them with a passion. They're a necessary evil. I find with like when we first started, and this is going back before my time, we used to actually supply supermarkets down here. You know, they would get their central buying, but if they ran out, they'd buy it from us. Yeah, and it was fine because they'd buy like 10 boxes of this, 10 boxes of that. Ideal, you know, and crack on with it. But also back then, when my dad opened his first shop, that was in 1994 or 5, I think. And back then we had Summerfield. Yeah. But as it was then Gateway. I might have been. Gateway was Gateway back then, wasn't it?
Was he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, Safeway wasn't even built then.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
And that was it. That was the only supermarket you had in Bodmin.
And that's in the mid-90s, you said?
Yeah. You know, and people, you know, still, you know, we still had the fruit and veg shop. There's still a fruit and veg shop in town. But back then, people still used the towns. Yeah. You know, it wasn't online shop and all that, you know, and home deliveries and all the rest of it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I can remember, and I'll tell you, when I was 12, so this is going back late 90s, I can remember me and my friend working there at Christmas and packing potatoes into 5 kilo bags. Yeah. We pack, and honestly, as a mound now, you're talking a mound that is up to the roof, you know, it is massive. We were just piling into it. Yeah. And then I can remember 2 of the other boys coming in, taking the whole lot, and then taking it out into our shop. And those days are long gone now, because like I say, supermarkets, we've got 6 supermarkets in Bodmin now, and another one on the way. Yeah. So you know, it's a killer, and especially now,
it's overkill as well, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. 6 supermarkets. We've got 6 supermarkets, and an Aldi coming now apparently. So we've got every supermarket apart from Waitrose and Marks and Spencers in a mile's radius of each other for a town with a centralised population of 15,000. Yeah. And there's no catchment area because St Austell has supermarkets of its own. Yeah. Weybridge has supermarkets of its own. Camelford has got a co-op. It's not got no supermarket, but at the same time, it's as far away from Weybridge as it is. So there's no guarantee you'll get it. And Bude also. You know, there's no, you know, Liskeard, all those sort of outlying areas that you would want to draw them into you. They won't come into here. Yeah. You know, they're just taking
all the supermarkets when they come into Bodmin. They're just taking customers off the other supermarkets, or they're just taking any of the few shops that are around, like your own. They're just taking little bits of business from that.
They're making that slice of the pie smaller. Yeah. That's all they're doing. There's no.
I just because they suck money out of the. We're everywhere.
Well, yeah, there's no local economy, and the local economy is dead. This is a generalisation because, you know, I was actually saying this to someone the other day. When you went to the butcher, the baker, and everything else, the fishmonger, the fruit and veg man. Well, when I was young, all the money, all the people that bought stuff in my dad's shop paid for my childhood, paid for me to have the clothes and the food, and you know, and all the rest of it. And it's the same for the butcher, the baker, and the butcher would spend his money at the baker and the veg man, and the veg man would buy from the butcher and the baker. Yeah. So the money stayed in the own little area, in the local economy. Whereas, like you say, Asda, that money goes to America into the Walton's pocket. Morrison's, that's up country. Sainsbury's, up country. Aldi and Lidl, that's money going straight to Germany. Yeah, it's that sort of thing now. the money is just disappearing out.
Yeah,
And
and we justify it by saying it creates jobs, and like you might that shop does create jobs, but it's taking it away from another business
definitely.
somewhere. And then not only that, the money that has been spent there, like you said, is all going somewhere else, and the money that's coming in isn't as much as what's going
no, it's
out.
right. No, it's all because they're all on bottom wages.
Yeah.
You know, and most of them are on like 0-hour contracts or temporary contracts.
Yeah.
We used to have, like I said, when I was 12, there was me. You had 3 storemen. You had 4 till girls. You had my dad and my uncle in the office. Then you also had 4 drivers, and then especially at Christmas, you'd have the school kids working.
Yeah.
Well, we hire 1 school kid now.
Right.
We have 3 till staff, but that's total. That's not at one time.
No.
We used to have 4 till staff at one time.
Yeah.
But we have 3 till staff now between, that work the whole week between us. It's gone. It is. It's disappeared. The only time we'll have 4 till staff on is Christmas. Rest of the year, rarely would you need 2.
Yeah.
And that's and whereas we used to have 3 or 4 on all the time.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. And you'd think that you'd increase as time goes on.
Yeah,
not
it's
decrease,
not because all the supermarkets, like
yeah,
say, they create jobs, but actually, most of our former till staff work at Asda now on the tills. So
that's it. How do you think we can change that then? Do you think there's a way to change it, or do you just think that's just the way it is now?
Something has got to give, especially like corporationism is slowly getting to a point where we've now got companies that are actually more powerful than countries and nations and governments, and they can be dictating. You look at Walmarts and stuff like that. They can dictate to you what they're gonna do.
Or Nissan.
Yeah. It's getting to that point now, and the answer is I don't know. I mean, what we've done is we've changed. We're becoming a farm shop. Whereas we used to be a fruit and veg shop, we're now a farm shop.
Yeah.
And actually, we're in Bodmin, but I would probably say the bulk of our trade are from people outside of Bodmin coming in to shop with us. I would probably say about 40% of our customers are actually from Bodmin.
Right.
So it's 60 that are from out of town.
Yeah, that's quite substantial, really.
It's scary. There's 15,000 people on our doorstep.
Yeah.
And can't get them up to our shop. I mean, every day you'll get someone come in that lives in Bodmin and says, "Oh, I didn't know you were up here."
No way.
And
every day.
Yeah, and we've been there. So the shop's been there since 94 or 95.
And it's right up on the beacon.
Right up on the beacon. Signs everywhere. We're in the Bodmin banner. We advertise in all the local things that are going on. It's not like we've tried to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
And people still come up and say, "Oh, I didn't know you were here." It's crazy.
It is madness, isn't it? It is madness. Okay. Quick few minutes on podcasts.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've done a bit of history. Just tell everyone, or tell the listener, sort of how you got into it and what you did.
Well, I used to do. I'm a big fan of podcasts. I've been listening to podcasts I was probably one of the first people in the country to listen to podcasts, I reckon. Probably a good 8 or 9 years now. That I've been listening to podcasts. I'm very into history, and I started listening to history podcasts. I thought, I'll listen to something just to pass the time, really, where I was working out, because I used to do delivery driving with my company.
Yeah.
So I got bored of listening to the same old songs, so I thought something different.
It's exactly how I got into it.
And it grew. I now listen to about 30 different podcasts every day. Not every day, but you know what I mean. Like,
across the week.
Yeah. And I started listening to football podcasts. After my history podcast, it came football podcasts, because I'm a big football fan. And turns out 2 of my friends listened to the same football podcasts. And we said, we all know like football. We know a bit. Let's have a go. So we started a football podcast in 2012, which lasted about a year. Stopped it because basically it was very hard to keep, to fit everything in, research and everything.
Yeah. There's a lot of football games to watch, isn't there?
You got to watch every game pretty much. And as much as you're doing that anyway, then you're analysing it, writing notes about it. And especially as we got more sort of in depth with it, then you start looking at elsewhere in the world. And we wanted to be funny.
Yeah.
So it was, it was sort of like finding that balance. But then there were bigger podcasts that were funny football, and I thought, well, actually, when it comes to football, you're not going to listen. It's different. I can listen to different history subjects on podcasts, but I'm not going to listen to 3 ones about England.
Yeah.
Not when there's one, and you get footballed out.
Yeah.
You can hear, was it Football Weekly is one? They're quite famous. They're all run by The Guardian.
Yeah.
You listen to that one. Then you got the Football Ramble, which is a big comedy football podcast.
Yeah.
They're really famous now. Yeah, they're quite famous now. Well, the third one, then they're going to be talking about the same things.
Exactly the same. Yeah.
The same matches, the same things. There's only so much football opinion you can take.
Yeah.
So we thought, I better not do that. We'll go funny. So then we stopped that and we started a comedy podcast. That lasted 2.5 years. And we're currently finished that one because basically found funny news stories and discussed it. But as time went on, finding different news stories were getting harder and harder. So we knocked that on the head, and currently not doing anything at the minute.
Hence why I've got all your gear.
Yeah. But I would love to get back into it. Perhaps something a bit more political next time, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think podcasting is a brilliant thing to do. And it's a whole genre, and you can get your voice out there and build a little community. Like the biggest thing for me was like within the Idiot's Guide to the Week podcast, comedy podcast we did.
Which you can find on iTunes still.
No, you can't. It's been taken down.
Oh, have you taken it down?
Yeah, no.
Oh, no way.
I had to because they took it down after we stopped paying them.
Okay.
So the hosting company.
Fair enough, I suppose.
But
sorry.
No, I've lost my train of thought. No,
Yeah.
it's no. What I said is that we actually had a Facebook page, and people then start chatting to us. There was one guy in London. Was a really good guy. He was always a laugh. You'd like to chat with him, and then a guy from Australia, and he would message us and chatting to him, and then and all of a sudden you're talking to these people. There's 3 or 4 people you're chatting to, and you're like, wow, these are real people that are actually listening to me. That think I'm quite funny, and even though we had a good listenership, I got to say we had 5,000 downloads an episode. So that's you can't.
Did you have 5,000 each episode on average?
On average, not that week. I think you get like 1,000, and then it would. I think we had about 1,000 that were dead hard listeners. But yeah, about after a month, you usually get up to about 5,000. Well, maybe a couple months. Sorry. But yeah, it was amazing. Really, we were in the charts. Up quite high. I think we were in top 20 in the main chart at one point.
That's good.
And yeah, it was really good, but it's just we couldn't sustain it, and that which was a shame, and felt it'd be disservice to keep it. But it's that community spirit. Love it. I think it's really good. It's a good tool in that way.
Yeah, that's why I'm keen on this. I mean, obviously, a lot of the podcasts, like you said, you actually end up hitting a lot of people across the world. But I wanted to hit the Cornish community specifically, just because I feel like if there's a conversation, an actual conversation that a conversation can be built around, then that's when you can actually create some change. Because I've had the same thoughts as you before about. I've had my periods where I'm actually quite politically outspoken.
Yeah.
On Facebook and Twitter or what have you, and I'm very anti sort of establishment in a way. And people have said, "Why didn't you run?" And I'm like, "No way. I don't feel like you can." Myself, I don't feel like I could make a change from the inside.
Yeah.
Just because I'd be too brash with people, and I would be just too. I don't know. I'd just get frustrated, and I would.
Yeah, you
go the wrong way about it, and it would end badly. So I want to try and change things from the outside.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why I think the podcast is great, because people can listen, they can love you or hate you, but either way, you can create something and start a discussion. And that's why I want to build a community around this.
people hating you isn't a bad thing.
No.
Because it means you've provoked a reaction.
Yeah.
It's when they've got no input to what you're doing, is that when you have to ask questions.
Yeah.
If people really disagree with you, that's good, because people are entitled to disagree with you and entitled to hate you. It doesn't really matter, but that means you had an effect on them so much that they've evoked a reaction and an emotion, and that means you're doing something. And like I say, I really like what you're doing with this, because also there is 2 million like Cornish diaspora, so talking Australia and America and expats and all the rest of it. And this is an outlet for them to find, to get to grips what's going on back home. I know they've probably got people to talk to and all the rest of it, but it's a little taste of home that they can take with them.
Yeah.
When they're going around
their lives.
Yeah.
Outside of Cornwall. I think, mate, unless there's anything else that's crossed your mind across the discussion that you've thought of and you've not had a chance to say, I don't know if there's anything like that.
No, I don't think so. I think
I've
said too much, really.
I've always got a couple of questions. First of all, have you got any advice to any young person that may be just leaving school or that might be interested in going into the town council or any sort of type of politics? Have you got any advice for them?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. I decided beginning of July that I was gonna do it. I was gonna go on town council.
Yeah.
End of July, I was told, no, you're not. We don't want you. I'm here now, beginning of November, a town councillor.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. It is doable. As long as you've got the drive to do it, just do it. Just go for it. If you feel that you can't do it on your own, join a party. I found that being part of a party has been invaluable, because it's like a family away from your family. Mm-hmm. Like I've had a lot of help from that end, a lot of advice. If you don't want to go for it alone, join a party. You don't have to follow party politics on a town council level at all. I'm sure that there'll be things where me and my other Liberal Democrat councillors will disagree on it and probably vote in different ways.
Yeah.
That's the life. That's what you've got to do, what you think's best for your town. I would just say, just go for it. If you really want to do it and you've got the drive for it, go for it.
I think that's a valid, very good point to make. I think that applies to so many things.
Yeah, you can get bogged down in thinking about, oh, wow, what if I don't understand this? Oh, what if I can't do that? Oh, there's talk about money. Oh, I don't like money. Stuff like that. That, like you say, it breeds the negativity. It puts the seeds of doubt. Oh, no, do you know what? I won't do it. If you think, I want to do it, do it. Go for it. The rest of it will come. You can learn. No matter what preparation you do. My words of advice for town council now is I did a lot of preparation. I looked into how it all worked and all the rest of it, and I tried to get myself as informed as I could. But there's not enough. There's not enough work to know until you get in there and sit down and do it. And I've only been on one meeting, and I learned so much in that one meeting, and I'm going to continue to learn. So don't worry about all that side of it. That can come, and you can grow into your role, and just do it. Just go for it. Be involved. We need more people involved, to be honest.
Yeah, we do.
We've got a youth now that are more disconnected from politics than we've ever had.
Yeah.
And it's because there's more choice and more distractions and more things going on. But if you really want to make a change, make it. Yeah. It's in your hands.
Very good words. Thank you. One more question.
Yeah.
If you could put a billboard up anywhere in Cornwall, where would it be and what would it say?
Oh, God. Billboard anywhere in Cornwall, and what would it say? It would be on the Tamar Bridge, and then it would say Cornwall U-turn.
Nice. That's very inclusive of you. Okay, so I've got to thank you very much for being on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
The Kernow Cast. No, it's been great, and once again, thanks for all your equipment and a lot of your advice. Actually, you've been very helpful in me starting this. Actually, with me actually listening to your podcast, it inspired me actually to do it myself.
No problem. That's what I aim to do.
That's it. The last sort of couple of things. Have you got any local businesses or projects that might be ongoing in and around your community that you would highly recommend people to get involved in or support?
Not off the top of my head. You put me on a bit of a spot there, but
Yeah.
no, not off the top of my head. I always think, not just in our community, but if there's any community things, it's the same as the politics things. If there's something that you feel have a passion for, get involved.
Yeah.
I also coach football for kids in Bodmin. If you want to coach football, find an outlet, get involved, and stuff like that. There's great things going, especially in youth football. There's great things going on in Cornwall for that. So, if you feel you want to coach, if you feel you can coach football, find a team. Go do something that way. And in anything, if there's any community things, that take your thing, don't just say, "Oh, that looks quite good." Get involved.
Yeah. Have you got any way of people getting hold of you? Like, have you got a Twitter account? Have you got a Facebook page or anything? Or is there?
I have, but being in my now role of town councillor, they're all highly private because I've obviously got a young family.
Segregate, yeah.
I've got to try and segregate a little bit. So if
will you have will you set yourself up a public one as like a for specific town council job?
Probably not with town council. If I ever went on to further,
yeah.
Maybe if I ever went for Cornwall Council, I'm not saying I am, but perhaps then. But Bodmin Town Council has got its own Facebook page. So,
okay.
There's not really much more I'm going to put on that than I am on there.
Yeah.
But if there is, if you're in Bodmin and there's any issues, it's cllfrost@bodmin.gov.uk is my email. So
brilliant.
That's actually all my details are on the Bodmin Town Council website. So.
Or you can walk into Celtic Produce and see you up there.
Celtic Produce and see me up there.
That sounds like the best idea.
My door is always open.
That's the best place, and pick yourself up some apple and oranges at the same time. All right, brilliant. Thanks, Leigh. Thanks for your help.
No problem. Thank you.
And thanks for being on this. And thanks everybody thank you for listening. Cheers and gone. So that was Leigh Frost, the now Bodmin Town Councillor. So all of you people living in Bodmin, you can get hold of Leigh, let him know your thoughts, let him know your ideas. So hopefully you can, put your case forward and get those things in place. If you want to visit him and see him face to face, best place to go is Celtic Produce. Maybe pick yourself up a potato, maybe a carrot or two. Let him know what your thoughts are there. If there is anything else, if you want to contact him or anybody else for that matter through me, then you can at kernowcast@gmail.com. If you've got any ideas, any thoughts, anything at all, then please let me know. I would be quite grateful of any input that you can put forward to me regarding anything we've discussed on the show tonight or today, or any of the other shows that I've put out. I am really trying hard to, there you go, I'm really struggling with it. It's difficult because I'm not scripting any of this. I'm just going with it as I go, because I think if I script it, then I'll get stuck into scripting it all the time, and I want to be better at just talking and talking and talking. So I'm hopefully I'm getting better. If not, then just bear with me. It might take a few months, but we'll see. I might have to start doing a few other little bits and bobs to get some practice in. Maybe I'll just start reading the Cornish Guardian into a... that's scripting then, though, isn't it? I'll continue to think about that. Anyway, like I said, kernowcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter and Facebook. Such an amateur, and I. We'll get there. It's going to get better, I promise. But thank you already for everybody that is continuing to listen. It really does mean a lot to me. And it's doing a lot better than I thought it would, to be honest. So thank you very, very much for all your support. In the meantime, until next time, cheers, me dears.